First off, before assessing students in any subject, we as teachers must provide the student with background knowledge. Assessing students may be challenging, but with the right assessments and knowing if students need support systems, it comes a little easier. With the appropriate programmatic instructional decisions, teachers must also assess in primary language and literacy development. Assessment is very important because it identifies the types of programs the students will be placed in. It is also important to report to the states, and finally, for documentation of the students' learning and academic progress. There are two types of testing for students. One being formal testing, which includes standardized testing, such as group-administered standardized achievement tests in reading, language arts, and mathematics. These also include the types of tests that identify special learning needs. Informal testing are tests like teacher-made tests and student work samples. As teachers, we will most likely use a variety of these tests. In order to know where students need to be placed in regards to special language support services, a student must take home what's called a home language survey. This survey identifies what other languages are spoken at home. Once this is done, then the student can take the English language proficiency test to see what types of educational support are needed. Standard language proficiency tests have certain limitations that can lead to inappropriate program placement. For example, the fact that a student's score is based on a single performance sample elicited out of the context of routine classroom activity may lead to inaccurate appraisal of language proficiency. Test performance is easily affected by non-linguistic variables, such as lack of familiarity with the testing procedure, disinterest, and fatigue. Furthermore, to the extent that a student feels the pressure of a testing situation, performance may be affected by anxiety. Finally, different standardized language proficiency tests sometimes yield different levels for the same student. Just as English learners have a legal right to alternative language support programs, they also have a legal right to exit these programs once they have gained sufficient English proficiency to succeed in the general education program. Redesignation to FEP is thus a critical matter requiring careful assessment of a student's ability to succeed educationally without special language support. In addition, it is important to include the judgment of teachers, parents, and any other resource personnel who have worked with the student. Teachers have questioned the validity of standardized tests for English learners, and rightfully so. It is important to consider a student's English language proficiency when interpreting his or her score. The 7 following principles provide guidelines for your classroom-based assessment, often referred to as authentic assessment. 1. Assessment should be based on observations of students as they engage in authentic learning tasks. 2. Assessment should be tied directly to your curriculum standards, instructional goals, and teaching. 3. Assessment should be continuous, based on observations over a substantial period of time. 4. Assessment should take into consideration the diversity of students' cultural, linguistic, and special needs. 5. Assessment should be collaborative, providing opportunities for students to evaluate their own work. 6. Assessment should be multidimensional, that is, based on a variety of observations in a variety of situations, using a variety of instruments. 7. Assessment should be based on current research and theory concerning language, literacy, and knowledge construction. A student's cultural and experiential background might interact with assessments to cloud or clarify the results. Schooling practices tend to conform to middle-class European American experiences and values. Therefore, students from other cultural backgrounds may be assessed incorrectly by virtue of culture and other experiential differences. How can you become a culturally responsive teacher? Optimize your students' chances for success by offering a variety of formats in which to display knowledge, including individual, small group, and whole class instructional formats. By providing a variety of routines, observing how individual students respond, and modifying your procedures accordingly, you become a culturally responsive teacher. This will increase student comfort and success in your classroom. Most classroom-based assessments will make use of informal assessment methods. Methods include direct observation, teacher-student conferences, student journals or learning logs, writing samples, running records of oral reading, and teacher-made tests. Ways to record, interpret, and store assessment results include portfolios, which are folders that contain a variety of samples of student work related to a particular curriculum, or a working folder of students' drafts and rewrites. This folder will show their progress over time.